What's up, marker heads? It's Karen, and this is going to be one of the first real-time talking videos that I've done in quite a while. I'm going to be painting Sylveon here, and I'm really nervous, I have to admit, because I don't normally talk to you guys in real time while I'm working. I normally record the audio after I've finished the picture, so we're kind of going into new territory here. But basically what I'm doing right now is just, I don't know why I did that. I am basically wetting all of the areas that I'm going to be painting. And I'm going to be painting the pink areas first. And I have a lot of water on my brush there. And this is I think this is the first time I've ever drawn Sylveon, so we'll see. It looks like there's a little bit of blue in my paint there. You'll get to see all the mistakes. I won't be able to hide it with the speeding up. If you're new to my channel and you're wondering why I'm doing this in real time instead of sped up, or even if you're familiar with my channel and are not really sure why I'm doing this in real time, my computer that I use to edit all my videos has broken, and so now the only way that I can do my videos is to just film them in one go, and I have to be brave and just do it. So here I am. I'm just going to be talking to you guys in real time until I can get my my computer replaced. I have a Sylveon figure here so I can kind of look at it for reference. So it's gonna be kind of an interesting couple months until I can replace my computer. I am able to use my husband's computer for some basic stuff, but I can't really rely on that computer for editing because it freezes up pretty badly. It's quite an old computer, so unfortunately my channel's content is going to be kind of limited right now, which is unfortunate, but that's okay. I think that I will be able to deal with it. I definitely still want to upload to my channel as regularly as possible, and so here I am. I'm thinking I might do where I flip through my sketchbooks because that's something that I can do in real time. But for now, I need to get these little Eevee paintings, or Eeveelution paintings done, so that's what I'm doing today. Let's see, the thing with watercolor, I'm typically a Copic artist, okay, so I usually use Copics. So I have to get used to mixing the color. I'm not really much of a mixer here, so I'm having to look here at his color. I call it a he. I have a male Sylveon in my game. Oops. So to me he's a guy, even though it looks very feminine, which is kind of funny. Anyway, so I'm having to look at the color, and I can see that it's not really a purpley pink like I have here. Well, like I have over here. It's more of a peachy pink, so I'm having to figure out how to mix the red and the pink purple together. I'm definitely going to need to add a lot more water. Use a bigger brush to do that. I am definitely a novice when it comes to watercolor, or at least an amateur. I'm still learning a lot from painting, so I'm definitely not going to give you any gems of massive, like, secret watercolor knowledge or anything like that. I'm still trying to figure out for myself how to mix color, so I'm going to test the color down here. That does look pretty close. I do apologize if I pause randomly. I am one of those people who goes very quiet when I'm focusing on something. I'm not great at multitasking, so please forgive me if I get kind of quiet on you. I'll try not to. So my question to you guys is, I just had the question in my head. What types of mediums do you want to learn but feel nervous about? I know for me, for a very long time, I'd wanted to learn how to do watercolor, but at the same time despised it. I know that in high school we had to do watercolors, and I just could not grasp it at all. And I still struggle with it. I don't do a whole lot of art with watercolors because they're a medium I'm not used to, and I just kind of go for Copics whenever I feel like drawing something. So I do have a lot of little trading card type work in progress stuff, just to get me to get the feel for painting with watercolors. And so that's kind of what I'm doing to practice. But there are a few other mediums that I would like to try or would like to get better at. For instance, I really like to paint with acrylics, but I definitely take a more painterly approach, and I have not done any character work with acrylics, only background, or only scenery or environment or whatever you want to call it, landscapes, I guess. I haven't really dabbled in painting characters or people or animals or anything like that. So that's something I want to try more of, is painting with acrylics. And a lot of people are getting on the gouache bandwagon lately, which I think is pretty cool. I have been wanting to try it. In one of my classes, the teacher demoed gouache, and I really wanted to try it out, but I couldn't afford to pick them up at the time. In the class we were assigned to do some practicing with 2 different mediums, and it could be any mediums that we wanted to do, but they had to be ones you weren't familiar with, so I chose watercolor pencils, or watercolor and what was the other one? Colored pencils, which is probably why I said watercolor pencils. And so I really liked doing it. I still have those little sketches. Oh, and I also did digital. I really need to learn how to do digital. I know that I'm getting kind of left behind because I am not very good with it. There's a lot of artists that only do traditional, and that I feel like I'm kind of one of the artists that are like that. But I know that there's so much you could do with digital art that I would love to try out sometime in the future. Okay, so I feel like I've got the pinks on Sylveon pretty good there. I'm going to start doing the environment. This is kind of an interesting one because with this series I didn't really sketch out the backgrounds very much. I kind of wanted to go with the flow and see what happens, which I don't really like working like that, and I kind of regret doing it that way. But at the same time I think that some of the backgrounds turned out alright. I have them here next to me. I did plan this one, and you can kind of tell that this one was planned, and the other ones were not very planned at all. I also planned out the one for Flareon. So I think that I'm discovering that the ones that are planned out are usually better. I do like this one. They're supposed to be jellyfish, but I didn't want to detail them too much. Anyway, so this one's going to be surrounded in roses. It's a very flowery looking Pokemon, or at least, I mean, it's a fairy type, and the fairies tend to be around flower gardens. Fairy type Pokemon are, so I thought I would put him in a flower garden. In case you were wondering, I do nickname my Pokemon, and my Sylveon's nickname is Fabio because he's a pretty man. It's such a, I guess, pretty little Pokemon that I think it's funny that there's such a high likelihood that it'll be a male Pokemon, you know, a male Sylveon, so I thought of the, you know, that iconic male model when mine evolved into Sylveon. I was like, well, you're a girly man, so but that's okay. I think that it kind of makes him more special in a way, I guess. What I'm doing with the roses is I am just kind of sculpting, I guess. I'm marking out the petals a little bit, but I'm not making it very detailed at all. I'm gonna have to mix more paint here soon. What I'm doing really is I'm marking out a few of the petals and then painting in the shadows. And the shadows I will eventually put in some leaves. I'm thinking I'm going to make the leaves blue, like the blue areas on the Sylveon. I'm not putting any more detail on Sylveon until those little areas dry, which for me with Copics, like I would just work on it section to section, and with watercolors you kind of have to work color to color, which is kind of interesting. Different. It's very different from what I am used to. So I do want to get more into things that are not fan art, just because I want to expand like my portfolio. I want to start doing I really want to actually start doing children's books. It's been my dream, so that's what I want to start doing. So I will be working on a children's book concept, and I'll probably be posting Instagram pics of that as it progresses. Oh, I just put my finger in this wet paint here. But at the same time, I probably won't be posting a whole lot. Like, I probably won't be posting the finished illustrations until the book gets published. But I will definitely do, like, little previews for you guys. And I'm only mentioning this because it is something that is a project on the horizon. I have someone who wants to back me for a project like that, and so the next couple weeks I'll be busy doing concepts and storyboards and stuff like that. So that's really exciting. The computer dying really set me back though, so unfortunately that's kind of like, I have a decision to make whether I want to try and take a bunch of commissions or whether I want to limp along without a computer for a while. So that's something really exciting. I hope that you guys are excited about it. I don't know, I'm just focusing on these little flowers now. It's kind of hard to think about more than one thing at a time, especially for me. I have some memory loss issues, so it's really easy for me to forget what I'm doing if I'm talking and drawing at the same time. It's funny, when I was in high school, like, I would talk all the time in art class. I was so bad at I was so bad about that. I would talk all the time. It was like my social hour. I actually really miss that, like the social aspect of art. And I know that art, you're supposed to focus on what you're doing, and that's really important. You need to focus on what you're doing, and I actually typically work in silence or with lyricless music. But usually silence. And that's just because it makes it a lot easier for me to focus on what I'm doing. But when I was in high school, art was such a social thing that now, with being, you know, a stay-at-home mom, I don't really know any people near me who like to illustrate, at least at the level of wanting to do it. As much as I do. Like, I have some friends who like to sketch or like to get crafty, stuff like that, and that's fun, and I enjoy hanging out with them, but I don't have any illustration friends that live near me, so it's hard sometimes it's hard to want to draw because there's that, like, I miss the social interaction, like comparing, you know, getting other people's opinions on what you're doing, like getting a bit of a honest critique, I guess. That's something I really miss. But when I would talk in art school, or in art class during high school, like, my teacher would always blame it on the other kids at the table, and then I would feel really bad. Well, I guess it's just something that would happen, but it was kind of like, oh, why are you always blaming them for that? That was my fault. I think part of it's like I would usually sit with guys, and my teacher was not very nice to dudes in general. Like, he was kind of known for favoring female students, like, not in a creepy way, but just like he would be harder on the guys, I guess. Like, he'd expect more out of them or something, so he wouldn't be very nice to them. I don't know. It's kind of I don't know, this kind of reminds me of Alice in Wonderland, like the old movie, the animated one. I haven't even seen the Tim Burton ones. I'm not really much into that sort of style. Like, I know a bunch of you are gonna gawk at me for saying that. I know that those two movies have a really big following, but I've never seen them. So a lot of people will ask me to do stuff from those movies, and I'll be like, I never saw those. And I didn't even really like the original movie, but the roses here are making me think of that. I will say, you guys, that I am rambly. I ramble a lot, so don't be surprised if I just kind of string random concepts or, like, subjects together for no reason at all. I'm not exactly good at monologuing, I guess. I hope that this is kind of an enjoyable video, though. I mean, my goal on my channel is to always make something that's interesting. And I personally, like, I will go to other YouTubers' channels and look for their longer videos, because I usually, if I'm cleaning or, you know, if I'm doing sketching, I like to put on something like that. Like, I like to use them as background noise, especially if I'm cleaning. Especially if I'm doing something mindless. Like, I hate doing the dishes, but if I'm listening to something interesting, then at least it's tolerable. So I will listen to, like, Will Terry. I listen to his channel a lot, or I'll put on workstation tour videos. But I prefer the ones where it's just the artist talking at length, or like the Leilani Joy, oh gosh, Paint With Me, maybe? I think that's what she calls them. The series where she's painting, and you can just paint with her. I don't like that coming down to the tail. I like those kinds of videos because I can listen without having to look, necessarily. I can look every once in a while, and because it's in real time, the progress is, you know, it's not super fast. Or I'll find live streams, like on Twitch, like Jellybee or Bailey, or like Lamia Crescent, but the problem with streams for me is that, like, I have this need to constantly be part of the conversation, and like I said, like, I don't have any real art friends around here, so like those can be really distracting rather than helping me get stuff done. So I tend to be like, okay, I have to go do this now, and then I'll stay on and keep talking like I never even leave, so I'm really bad about that. It's something I need to work on. I'm not really sure I'm liking how I'm shading this. I think that the light was supposed to come down on this side. Oh, what? I got like a random chunk of blue pigment in there. Whoops. I'm not painting with very clean water, to be honest. There is some blue in the water. Okay, speaking of blue, I'm gonna add the blue color to the ends of this little guy's doohickeys. What are these things called? Ribbons. Anyway, there's a bunch of, I don't know, like, here's something to talk about, I guess. I'm trying to think of things to talk about because I'm, like, not done painting yet. We are coming up to the end of the video. My camera shuts off around 25 minutes. But here's a question that I want to leave you guys with, and that is, what of the new Pokemon what do you think of the new Pokemon? They recently put out a group of new Pokemon again. I really like the Clydesdale thing. It's like a giant horse, like a workhorse, but it's also, it looks like it might be a ground or fire type or dark type. I don't know. It's kind of cool looking though. I like it. It has a mohawk and dreadlocks. I think it's kind of funny. Some of the other designs, I'm kind of skeptical. And I'm not like one of those Gen 1 elitists or anything like that. So I'm not like, oh, Gen 1's the best or anything like that. Like, a lot of the newer Pokemon I look at with a bit of a skeptical outlook, I guess. Especially ones that are based on inanimate objects. I don't feel like I can, like, when I see a Pokemon, I try to imagine it in real life and, like, what kind of friendship I would gain, like, I would share with that type of Pokemon. And, like, if it's a Pokemon based off of an inanimate object, it, like, I don't know, sounds bad, I guess, but I couldn't see that really making sense. Like, it would be really hard to do things with a Pokemon like that. I don't know. I think a more traditional Pokemon, I guess. Like one with 4 legs or like little hands or whatever, like a Pikachu or one of these guys, an Evolution would be a lot more, it'd be easier for me to form a bond with a Pokemon like that. Like, I don't know. That doesn't make much sense, but anyway, I hope that you guys like this video. I'm not really done with this painting, but I'm at the end of the video now, so I really appreciate you guys watching this, and I will upload more later. I will be filming the entire process of this, and once I am able to upload the speed paint, I will upload the speed paint. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this, you guys. I really appreciate it, and I will see you in the next video, which will probably be a sketchbook flip through. Anyway, thanks so much for watching.